The second part of the first season of Amazing Digital Circus is coming out very soon, and on the eve of the release, the developers who were fired by Glitch leaked information about the new episode. Get ready for your minds to explode when we go into the mystical worlds of connections and symbols, ladies and gentlemen. Although we have a direct message from the developer, unfortunately, it is written like a riddle, and this riddle is revealed with the help of mysterious hints and the smallest details. Come with me. I will try to unravel the secrets of the amazing digital circus and uncover the deep truths hidden behind its digital walls. The developers told a seemingly insignificant but strangely significant connection in Kane blowing bubbles, similar to the story of Cain and Abel in religious mythology. However, don't worry, there is a deeper reality behind these accidental similarities. Exploring the mysterious digital circus, we come across the terrifying idea of abstraction, in which a person's personality is blurred to a frightening shell of his former self. Angels and religious themes are combined with the creator's vision in this digital environment. Besides the fact that the name Kane and Cain are very similar, so is the behavior of the characters too. The Bible says that Cain and Abel are brothers who were the children of Adam and Eve. Cain, like Cain, was the head. Cain was the landowner, and Cain is the owner of the circus itself. Abel, in turn, is a worker on the land of Cain, and specifically, a shepherd. Do you already understand what I'm getting at? These characters do not just intersect with religious mythology, but moreover, they were written based on it. After all, the bubble also works for Cain, just as Abel worked and helped Cain. And what do you say to the fact that the bubble used to be not just soapy water filled with air, but the same living creature as the other inhabitants of the circus? Earlier, when the bubble could walk on its own legs instead of floating in the air, Cain and Bubble's parents sent them into the vast world of the digital circus and told them to live in it together. There was no so-called circus in this world yet, but there were only boundless fields and landscapes. Yes, it used to be boundless, but more on that later. Cain and Bubble lived together in this huge world. They lived like real brothers. They always had fun together. They played, but as the years passed and they got tired of playing just outside, Cain suggested building a shelter, and that's how the famous circus appeared to us. Bubble and Cain started playing in it and did not notice how time flew by. But soon they got bored again, and the brothers decided to violate their parents' instructions and found a way to summon new residents to their world. When the new residents appeared in the circus, Cain and Bubble were extremely happy, but the joy did not last long because the next day their parent found out about it and got very angry at his children and told them to sacrifice their new friends to him. Cain did not hesitate to save Lael's paper friend from life and gave it to his parent, and the Bubble, in turn, could not say goodbye to his friend. The bubble sent through the creek rift, his friend out of the water directly to his parent in the role of a servant. The parent told his children that the gift of bubbles is better and nobler. Cain was furious about this and killed Bubble in the night. When the parent found out this, he punished Cain by changing him from the guise of a handsome man into the guise of a Cain already known to us, namely a jaw in a suit. And he revived the bubble in the form of a bursting ball and forced Cain to take care of him all his life. Remember that I said that the world of the digital circus was endless, so the parent forbade anyone who was called by Cain to leave the circus territory, otherwise the escaped one would disperse and turn into a monster with a bunch of eyes and try to take Cain's life. That's exactly why Cain wears his brother Bubble in his hat and is so afraid that someone will try to escape from his world. Returning to the topic of the parent, the developers thus hinted at his appearance in the second episode. What do you think he will do, and will he forgive Cain? Write about it in the comments. Since we have touched on scattering, let's talk about it in more detail. Do you remember that when Ragatha showed Remember Her Room, there were a bunch of other rooms in the background with crossed-out tenants on them? The most striking example of them is Coffmo. When we first meet the clown Coffmo, or rather, what is left of him, we observe the consequences of this abstraction firsthand, namely the so-called dispersion. Oh my God! There was a split in Coffmo. I found new details after browsing Gooseworks' Tumblr, although I wasn't sure if we had enough information last time to fully determine what was going on here. She argues that abstraction entails more than just becoming a monstrous, insane creature. This is undoubtedly part of it, but the deeper meaning is more complicated. Gooseworks's claim is that when a person abstracts, they lose touch with who they are. Your personality is completely erased, and you become completely unrecognizable, and you will not arbitrarily hunt for Kane, devouring everyone on your way to him. The developers also casually mentioned that the Eaten characters also turn into a similar monster and begin to pursue their main goal. That's why Kane saves all the residents. But then why does Kane keep calling new people into his circus if his own life is being put at risk because of it? It's simple, because the explanation for this can be found in the developer's message. For Kane to be able to return to his true identity, he needs someone to love him for who he is. But Kane can't control the characters who come and track their gender before the call. That's why there are so many circus residents. By the way, have you noticed how Pomney looks at Kane? That's what I want to talk about now. From the point of view of psychology, Pomney looks at Kane more and more over the course of the series. This suggests that Pomney begins to develop dependence on Kane. Eye contact is important, but because of her character and the situation in which she got into, she did not realize herself that she began to get carried away with Kane. It is possible that it is remember that will help Kane to bring his beauty back. Most likely, according to hints from the developers, this will happen at the end of the second series. What do you think about this? Do you want to talk about Jax? Yes, of course you do, because this is the most cheeky and ill-mannered character. And after all, he will be the next one who tries to escape and turn into a monster. Do you know why this will happen? I'll start them far away. He uses the knowledge that Ragatha is most afraid of centipedes to squirm over her. This can be understood from their dialogue. Please let me know if you find anything I could have left in your room today. I take it. You're not afraid of centipedes? Jax, that's the only thing that bothers me. Why are you acting like this? Obviously, Jax is a bad person. It means we're stuck in hell if Gooseworks hints that he deserves to be in the circus more than most people. However, just because someone is in hell does not mean that hell will always be a fiery place with lots of flames. And a bad person like Jack won't want to stay in hell for a long time and will try to escape from there. According to preliminary calculations, he will make a through-the-ground pod to the other side of the world under his bunk in the second series. Unfortunately, the video is coming to an end, and it's time for us to say goodbye. But before saying bye, I want to tell you that the letter from the developers is only half disassembled, and in the next video, you will find even more interesting hypotheses. Well, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Bye, everyone.